Sarah Ferguson may be preparing for one of the biggest life changes in years. According to new reports, the Duchess of York is quietly looking at properties in London and has apparently decided she's no longer interested in keeping a low profile overseas. For years, Sarah Ferguson has divided her time between Royal Lodge in Windsor and periods spent abroad. Reports have linked her to Switzerland, Austria, and the United Arab Emirates. Much of the time, very little was known about exactly where she was staying. Now, according to an insider speaking to Cosmopolitan, that's changing. The source claims that Fergie has been touring small, one-bedroom flats across London and is seriously considering a move. What's interesting is that this isn't being described as a temporary arrangement or a short-term visit. According to the report, Sarah wants to be back in the capital and closer to the centre of things. The insider reportedly said, "Fergie would rather downsize than disappear." That single quote tells you quite a lot about where she seems to be mentally right now. For decades, Sarah Ferguson has had a complicated relationship with public life. There have been periods when she was everywhere. Television appearances, charity work, book tours, interviews, documentaries. Then there were periods when she seemed to pull back from public view altogether. The last few years have been particularly challenging. Sarah has dealt with major health scares, including treatment for breast cancer and later a diagnosis of skin cancer. Throughout much of that period, she largely avoided the spotlight and focused on recovery. Now, at 66 years old, reports suggest she may be ready to re-establish a more permanent presence in London. And according to royal insiders, there may be another reason behind the decision. Her daughters. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie remain two of the most recognisable members of the extended royal family, but they continue to occupy a somewhat unusual position within the monarchy. Neither sister is a working royal, yet both continue to carry royal titles and regularly appear at major family events. Over the past several years, reports have repeatedly suggested that the York sisters have found themselves increasingly pushed to the margins as the monarchy continues to slim down. Those reports have only intensified since King Charles took the throne, and Prince William's influence within royal decision-making has grown. According to recent claims, Sarah Ferguson has become increasingly frustrated by what she sees as the treatment of her daughters. Sources say she believes Beatrice and Eugenie are paying the price for controversies connected to their parents, particularly those involving former Prince Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. And that appears to be one of the issues weighing heavily on her mind. One insider claims Sarah feels it is unfair that her daughters continue to face consequences for events they had nothing to do with. Whether that's an accurate assessment or not depends on who you ask. What is clear is that Beatrice and Eugenie continue to face constant scrutiny whenever discussions about their father, Andrew, come up. Every new headline involving the former Duke of York tends to drag the entire family back into public discussion. And for Sarah, that reportedly remains a source of enormous frustration. That frustration may explain why recent developments involving Princess Anne were viewed so positively. According to reports, Sarah was particularly pleased to see Beatrice and Eugenie included in family celebrations surrounding Peter Phillips and Harriet Spurling. The wedding attracted significant attention because it brought together many members of the royal family. Observers noted that Beatrice and Eugenie appeared relaxed and comfortable while spending time with cousins and relatives. According to insiders, Sarah viewed their inclusion as a welcome gesture. One source described it as something of an olive branch. But at the same time, the same source insisted Sarah does not see the invitation as changing the bigger situation. The insider reportedly said that while the wedding invitation was appreciated, it did not alter what Sarah believes is a wider effort to sideline her daughters. That's certainly a strong accusation. And it's worth noting, these claims come from unnamed sources rather than directly from Sarah herself. Still, the reports paint a picture of a mother who remains fiercely protective of Beatrice and Eugenie. Anyone who has followed Sarah Ferguson over the years knows that family has always been at the centre of her public image. Even after her divorce from Andrew in 1996, the two remained unusually close. In fact, their continued friendship became one of the most talked about aspects of royal life. Despite divorcing nearly 30 years ago, they continued sharing homes, attending events together, and presenting a united front when it came to raising their daughters. That arrangement often puzzled many of us. Yet, Sarah consistently described Andrew as one of her closest friends. Now, with fresh reports suggesting she wants a London base of her own, some observers are wondering whether this marks the beginning of a new chapter. Not necessarily a dramatic one, but perhaps a more independent one. The timing is certainly interesting. Princess Eugenie is reportedly preparing for another busy period of family life, and Princess Beatrice continues balancing royal appearances with private responsibilities. Being based in London would place Sarah much closer to both daughters. It seems she feels she will soon be able to resume the charity work and public engagements that have become increasingly important to her in recent years. Whether that is a good decision, or anyone is willing to continue working with her, remains to be seen. But, unlike previous periods when Sarah seemed content to spend extended stretches abroad, these latest reports suggest she wants to be present, visible, part of the conversation again. Whether that happens, we'll have to wait and see. At the moment, we only have reports from insiders and no official confirmation from Sarah Ferguson herself. But if the stories are accurate, one thing seems clear. The Duchess of York has no intention of fading quietly into the background. After years of health challenges, years of family controversy, and years spent moving between different countries, she may be preparing to plant roots back in London once again. Interview talks have been in the works for months, but many claim she is not willing to go down this path quite yet. What do you think? Is Sarah Ferguson right to believe that Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie have been unfairly sidelined? Or do you think their current role within the royal family is exactly where it should be? Will Sarah Ferguson's return to London put her back at the centre of royal life? Or do you think she'll remain on the outside looking in despite the move? And if she does settle in, do you think we'll start seeing much more of Fergie at royal events and public engagements? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy royal family updates and the latest palace developments, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video.